This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. In crime news, police making several arrests here in the capital after confiscating a number of firearms between Monday and Tuesday. In two separate instances, officers attached to Operation Ceasefire conducting saturation patrols discovered high-powered weapons. In one instance, the officers were in the area of Milton Street off East Street when they observed a male walking from a nearby track road. On seeing the officers, the male began to act in a suspicious manner, which resulted in him being searched. It was at this time that the officers found a black, high-powered weapon with ammunition in his pants. The 20-year-old of Windsor Lane was taken into police custody. Prior to this, shortly before 7:40 p.m., officers from Operation Ceasefire, acting on information, went to the area of Finlayson Street in Bainstown, where they searched an abandoned building and discovered a high-powered weapon. There were no arrests made as a result of this discovery. There have been several fatal shooting incidents in the Finlayson Street area in recent weeks. Meanwhile, in a separate incident shortly after 7:15 p.m., officers attached to the South Central Division were in the area of Key West Street in Angleton when they observed a male acting in a suspicious manner, which resulted in him being searched. A black high-powered weapon with ammunition was discovered in his pants as well. The 20-year-old of Charles Vincent Street was arrested and taken into police custody. And a 47-year-old female and a 17-year-old male are also in police custody after a high-powered weapon was found in their home in the area of Bel Air Estates. Police say shortly after 11 p.m. on Monday, officers attached to the Southwestern Division executed a search warrant at the home, and while making checks, the weapon was discovered. Investigations into all of these matters continue. Police seized some 370 illegal firearms off the streets of the Bahamas in 2022. A 22-year-old male of Murphytown was arrested on Abaco after police found a quantity of dangerous drugs on him shortly after 11 p.m. on Monday in the area of Bay and Churchill Streets. Officers attached to Operation Restoration searched a male pedestrian and found a quantity of suspected marijuana. The weight and value are unknown at this time. On Grand Bahama, shortly after 4 p.m., officers attached to the Drug Enforcement Unit, acting on information, executed a search warrant on a residence on Frobisher Drive. While doing so, a quantity of suspected marijuana was discovered there. The suspected drugs weigh 4.5 ounces with an estimated street value of $270. Investigations continue into those matters as well. President and Managing Director of Atlantis Paradise Island Resort, Audrey Oswald, is urging employees of Atlantis to make their concerns heard about the government's decision to allow Royal Caribbean International's $100 million beach club project on the western end of Paradise Island. In a letter to employees, Ms. Oswald urges them to take a stand. Last month, the government announced that approvals have been granted to RCI for the project pending environmental assessments. Following the announcement, Ms. Osborne voiced her own concerns, calling on the government to reconsider and follow through with a serious examination of the impact that the proposed project could possibly have. In a letter to employees, Ms. Oswald reiterates her concerns over the environmental impact, which she believes has the potential to negatively impact Paradise Island beaches, marine life, and water, which could be devastating. She notes many of the staff members have expressed their support for Atlantis executives speaking out and asks what they can do to make their voices heard. She said as part of the hospitality industry, Atlantis' team needs to stand up to protect their livelihood. She is encouraging them to share their thoughts and concerns with their family and friends and to review the process as it unfolds, and if they feel strongly about it, contribute to the public dialogue. The Organization for Responsible Governance, ORG, Bahamas, announced last week that Robert Myers has stepped down as chairman of the board after almost 8 years of leading the organization. Mr. Myers, one of ORG's founders, played a crucial role in establishing ORG's non-partisan mission and driving its growth to become a leading voice for accountable governance, economic development, and education reform in the Bahamas. Mr. Myers will remain on the ORG board, and Vice Chairman Galen Saunders will take over as interim chairman. As he remits the role, Mr. Myers reflected on his tenure and recognized the importance of yielding to the future. ORG's Executive Director, Matt Aubrey, also recognized Mr. Meyer's contribution to responsible governance. Mr. Meyer's decision to step down from leadership comes as ORG prepares for a new phase of growth and development as it prepares to build on its achievements and expand its impact on critical issues affecting the Bahamas. And finally, the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association, the BLTA, held a successful Spring Classic tennis tournament last week, with competition wrapping up on Saturday at the National Tennis Center. RBC was the title sponsor of the junior tennis event, and after the completion of over 100 matches, the following champions were crowned. Chase Newbold and Caitlin Pratt won the boys under 12, the boys and girls under 12 titles respectively. Patrick McTaggart and Tatiana Madu won the boys and girls under 14 titles respectively. Jackson McTaggart and Sapphire Ferguson won the under 16 boys and girls title respectively, and Dentry Mortimer Jr. won the under 18 boys title. The sportsmanship male and female trophies were awarded to Kaylin Bowe and Victoria Sandy Aguilar. The BLTA, led by President Perry Newton, congratulates all winners and runners-up of the 2023 RBC Spring Tennis Classic. That'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thanks so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.